Hello, my beautiful people. I wanted to talk a little bit about 9/11 and why it's important that we remember it so many years later. I had class tonight. I was, talking to my students, and I realized that none of them were born when 9/11 happened. And so I feel like, like that story as opposed to, Pearl Harbor, it gets less with each generation. And so those of us who, were around, um, you know, we all remember what happened, and I remember my mom talking about, like, she remembered what happened, where she was the day that John F. Kennedy was shot. And there are points in history that we can look back to and say, that's where I was when that happened. And I was pregnant with David, my older son. And I was on the phone with our lawyer. We were purchasing some property. And the lawyer said, do you have the TV on? And I didn't, because I rarely watch TV. She said, you better turn on the TV. And I turned it on, and I was like, oh my God, I'll have to talk to you later. And then I called my mom, who was still sleeping, and I said, Mom, you got to turn on the TV. It's an emergency. You better go down. And that was before the towers fell. It was like right at the beginning. And my mom and I just sat on the phone for, felt like hours, crying. Just because we didn't know. We had no idea, because then the Pentagon and then the part in Pennsylvania, and we had no idea what was going on. And I just remember saying to her, I can't believe I'm bringing a child into this world. What is going on? I mean, my husband already fought in the Middle East. Like, this is going to start another war in the Middle East. And so I remember that we all, went to different churches that night. Like, we all put candles out. I remember that in the neighborhood that I lived at. We all put candles out on our decks and our porches. And then we went to churches. We didn't have a church local, so we went to a local church. And just like, the only benefit, the only good thing was how much people came together to help each other. When you think about the boat captains that came to get people off of Manhattan, because Manhattan is an island, and the people just ran to the water. And so the Coast Guard put out a call, and then all of these tugboats and little boats, private boats, big boats, ferry boats, all came just to help get people off the island. And just the spirit of people coming together to help each other, everybody put their division aside to help their neighbor. And, I'm not going to talk about the political situation. I don't endorse either of the candidates that are running for president in the two major parties, because I don't belong to a major party. So I support the candidate of my own party. So I look at all of the division, and our media really promotes that division because they make a lot of money from us fighting with each other. And I think back to 9/11 and how we all came together when we had to, how we all put all that aside, and we all just came together to help our fellow human. And I just think about, all the service dogs, the dogs that they had. Somebody posted something on Facebook that I shared, that talked about all the different dogs that went in and to find bodies, they were looking for survivors, but in most cases they weren't survivors that were found, but they found people that they could at least provide closure to the families, and these boat captains that came in, and the Red Cross, 57,000 Red Cross volunteers, people signing up on the spot for the Red Cross. All of the people coming together to help. Bad things happen in our world. Bad things are going to always happen in our world. In some cases, we're responsible for the bad things that happen. Alicia, posted a beautiful comment about my previous video about ancestor veneration, and really, just honoring the people who have made sacrifices, either willingly and oftentimes not willingly, so that we can have what we have today, to have the freedom to sit in traffic jams, to have the freedom to be frustrated by by, stupid drivers, because we have the right to drive wherever we want to. I have the right as a woman to go teach a class. Like we have so many generations to thank for where we are today, but not all of it's been a rosy good story, right? And sometimes we are to blame. And so we have to show gratitude and accept responsibility and accept our role in the way that the world works. And how do we move forward? 9/11 is always just so hard for me because I lived right by New York, and it was horrible, right? And I had just been there 2 weeks before with my students. I taught at Penn State at the time, and I had just been there with my students 2 weeks before. We had been at the World Trade Center, we had been at the Stock Exchange. I mean, it just is, it still lives so deep in my heart. I haven't been able yet to go to the memorial. One of the reasons is that the Twin Towers are made from Bethlehem steel. And my father was a steel worker. And the one tower that collapsed was built with steel that he probably helped pour. And I see the different memorials that exist, the I-beams that were from the Bethlehem steel. And it just breaks my heart. So why do we remember? Why do we remember sad things? Why do we remember awful things? Why do we remember these awful things? Well, hopefully it's so they don't happen again. And so that we never forget that we have to be the light in this world. We have to come together and combat all of the nonsense that our media pushes. We have to combat the nonsense our politicians push. We have to be the light and love in the world. If we don't do it, nobody else will. And we know that we can. We look back at those examples of when we could bring light and love in the world, and we were there with puppies, with everything that we had, with our tugboats. We were there helping each other. And that kind of love is what can save our world. So I just wanted to come on and just honor all of the people who lost their lives on 9/11, all the first responders, all the innocent people, and just remember that we can do better, and we will do better. We have done better, and we should strive to do better every single day. I'm wishing you all the best in light and love. Be well. Take care.